my channel, and it's me again, Angelica. Today we're going to talk about my recent palette, not about my whole collection. One day I promise I'm going to show you the whole collection what I have, but today we're going to talk about my recent palette, and I'm going to tell you which is my more favorite, less favorite. If I have another chance, would I purchase again or I would pass? So that's what we're going to talk about the quality, about if I will repurchase, and so on. And if you don't know me, my name is Angelica. I like everything what's related to skincare, beauty, fashion, hairstyle, traveling, obviously makeup, colorful makeup with a new touch. I'm also a dance instructor who loves to dance and teach, and today we're going to talk about my recent palette, what I think about them. So let's start it. Okay, there is about, I don't know, roughly I think it's 15 palettes if I'm not mistaken. Let's start to talk about some palettes, and I'm going to start with the ColourPop palette. I purchased two palettes from ColourPop, and this is the two palettes I purchased. One of them ctrl+alt Glam, and this is more colorful palette, more like have a neutral tones as well, and have blue and purple. This palette, it's okay. It's not my favorite from ColourPop. If you ask me, would you purchase again? I would say I'll pass with this palette. I wasn't that impressed about the quality. I don't know, it's just me, but that's my own opinion. I wouldn't buy this palette. Compared to this palette, Troublemaker, and even this palette doesn't have that colorful shades as I normally prefer. This palette actually performed better. I found that the quality of this palette is better than with CTL palette, ALT Glam palette. Look at this palette. I really like this grayish and dark color, and it has this pinkish color. So this color is for me have more contrast, and it's kind of better the quality, and it's better in terms of if you really want to create some look, is right away there. And with this palette I have to really work to get the color. So in this case I would put this palette higher, and a look like, for example, this silver color and even this black color is right away there. And the other palette you have to really work to build up the color. But this color story and this palette from ColourPop, I don't really mind it. So if you ask me, would you purchase this palette again, I would say I think so, but it's not that necessary to my collection, to be honest. So I'm not really too much impressed. If I compare to other ColourPop, like even I have the Barbie older palette and Kitty, Hello Kitty, I would prefer that palette over this palette. So I think that's it what I purchased from ColourPop. Now we're going to move to Sugar Drizzle, and from Sugar Drizzle I really purchased a lot of palettes, and one of them is Hypernova palette, which is actually a beautiful palette. The more actually I play with this palette, the more I like this palette. And people who really afraid of color, we have a really kind of nude colors over here. And obviously my favorite color from this palette is this color. It's called Interstellar. This color is really sold me. I think because of this color I bought this palette, and I really like this mattes over here, obviously the most colorful one, and I really like this bluish kind of, which is grayish with blue, very interesting color. So these three colors and this really sold me this palette, and the more I play with this palette, the more I like. So if you ask me, Would you buy this palette again? I would say yes. I actually like this palette, and the price is also pretty good. And the other Sugar Drizzle palette is this Man I Love Frog. And as you know, this palette been very popular, out of stock for a while, so I bought it when it's come back to the stock. I just like this color story, and again it's green more because it's about frog. I like how this metallics really perform, and my favorite color from this palette, I'm going to swatch it for you in a second, obviously is this beautiful shifting colors. Look at this, it's look like they're wet even. I really love this quality of this palette. I really love this story. If you ask me, would you purchase? Of course I would. And maybe later on I will give you the ranking of the palette, but if I would purchase the palette with amazing shades on it, reflecting, more wet, it would be one of this palette. The other from Sugar Drizzle palette is Sugar Dreams, which is a pastel palette, which gave me a surprise right now. I opened it and all color was kind of didn't press very well. I don't know why it's happened with this palette. So I was actually pressing all these colors. They kind of was moving around. I don't know if anybody had this problem. So I'm really surprised right now. So I was cleaning my fingers and pressing, like this shade was off, this shade was off, like this was like moving. They are pretty, like the colors is very pretty, but I would suggest you to have some matte colors, so these colors will show up better. Quality wise is great, but this just surprised me right now why this color is not pressed well. So I really love it. Would I buy this? I'm not sure anymore, because I had a surprise with these colors. They start to kind of separate it, but it's a beautiful, beautiful shades. I really love them. Okay, let's move on. That's so strange. We're going to move to another brand, which I really love it. It's GLAMLITE. So I bought two palettes. Again, if you want to watch full videos, you're more than welcome. I'm going to put some links in my description below. I did 2 or 3 looks with each of palettes. I have shorts, so you're more than welcome. So this one, Strawberry Shortcake. I really like GLAMLITE, to be honest. Everything what I bought from GLAMLITE, it's a very good quality, so I really looking forward to purchase more palettes from GLAMLITE. This is another green with some pink and a red, a very beautiful color story. I'm just going to swatch some color. I really loving it. All colors, really love it. Look at this story. Color story. I mean, vibrant at the same time, pretty rich, have all kind of shimmers, all kind of mattes. Mattes are amazing in this palette. I really loving it. Very easy to work with, blendable, very bright, I would say. You don't have to really build. The only things about this palette, it will stain a bit, not too much, but next day you will have some reddish lids for sure. So just have it in mind. I really enjoy this palette, really love to have it, happy to have it in my collection. Another palette which I bought, which was older palette, also from GLAMLITE. I bought 2 Michaela palettes, one of more neutral one and one of this. I want to show you this palette especially. I really loving it. Again, a lot of greens. This palette is a really great quality. I really suggest. I know it's a big palette. If you love these colors, it's palette for you. I mean, you have blues, you have purple, you have green, you have gold, you have like white snow with blue, white snow with a rosy, another one reflected with blue. I mean, beautiful, beautiful quality, beautiful palette. Amazing, amazing mattes. Really suggest you to buy it if it's an older palette, but if you're thinking, this is one of the good quality palette and very great range of colors as well. It's this Scooby-Doo palette. I already talked about this palette. I really love the quality of this palette. Really amazing. If you love turquoise and purple, this is palette for you. I'm going to swatch some of the colors which are amazingly beautiful, and this why I bought this palette. Some mattes, some shimmers. Shimmers are really something. I already talked about this palette, and I already told you that this palette, it's more in the dark side palette. So if you really love very like dramatic look, I would say, with some punch of color, this is color story is for you. Otherwise, you can use this palette with some other lighter shades palette. And I already told you that I would have changed these two, like these two similar colors, these two and these two, very look like, just darker and brighter. I would have changed, and I would have put some light color like white, snow metallic, or a light blue, or light purple, something I will change and make it a little bit lighter than this color story. But this is what it is. If you talk about the quality, this is again amazing quality. Really suggest you buy it if you like the color story. Another palette, which is not that recent palette, it's been in a while, but I want to show you this palette from NOMAD Cosmetic, Paradise Island. I really enjoy this palette. This is something different. It's a very bright colors, very different from other palettes I have, like this, for example. I'm talking about mattes as well, and some mattes it's some shimmers is kind of matte with a little bit of shimmer. Look how beautiful is this, like a pastel, at the same time a bright pastel look. And we have so many colors, completely kind of different story, more like romantic, more I would say this palette is pastel slash bright at the same time. Amazing, amazing palette. Really suggest you to buy it. And I was actually want to buy another palette from NOMAD Cosmetic. The one is a recent one, Valentine's palette, but because I'm not really fan of red colors, I decided to pass. And the grungy colors is remind me like darker side, the Verona Love and Death palette. It's really remind me of this color story, so I really don't need another one. And I'm not fan of red. I even have this palette, which is the almost fell down, which is the older palette from VH Cosmetic, and it has all this kind of reddish and pinkish undertones, and I barely use it. So I was thinking, if I buy that palette, would I really use it? So if I'm not going to use this palette, what's the point to buy? Just to have it in my collection? I don't think so. Okay, let's move on. We have not many left, and I'm going to go with two quotes which I recently bought, one from Natasha Denona and another one from Pat McGrath. Let's start from Pat McGrath. This is the quotes I bought, and I talk about this quote when I did a review about, I have the whole video about this palette. I even have a video, two of them together, and my opinion, which one I would buy it, and maybe another would, if you have choice just to buy one quote, which one I would buy. Okay, this color story is more kind of darker, rich color story compared to another one. I'll swatch it for you right now, compared to Natasha Denona. Natasha Denona and this quotes cost 50 Canadian. Compared to this cost 34 Canadian. So it's a difference with price as well, but Of course, as I mentioned before, you get a great design, more kind of funky, and if you're Star Wars lovers, obviously you will like this package more. About the grams of the products are the same. It's look like this quartz is bigger and it's more product, but it's not. If I would have choose between these two quartz, I would have go with this one because it's cheaper. The other reason why I would have go with another one, it's because color story, in my opinion, for me, it's more attractive than in Pat McGrath. It's nice, I wouldn't say it's bad, it's rich, it's beautiful, but this one is more me. And also it's cheaper, so you kill two rabbits, as we said. So I really love this color story. I'm going to swatch it, but this one is, I would say, more like in a pastel way. Some pink, some light blue, darker blue and gold, and this beautiful green, which I absolutely love it. I really love this green, and it's matte, and I absolutely love it. I really love all of this color, to be honest. This color story is very smart color story in my opinion, and I really love it. So if I had a choice between these two, I would have gone to Natasha Denona. Another palette, which is my first time purchase from this brand, is Jolly Beauty. Very special palette for me because it has neon colors. It's called Zombified. I really enjoyed this palette, to be honest. And I think it's perfect, this palette, for summer, for spring, for coming up. I really love these neon colors, which I think is really unusual, and I don't really have anything like this in my collection. This is the mattes. Look how beautiful they are. Look at this beautiful shimmer. So if you really, like me, love something bright, neon. So I really enjoyed this color story, really vibrant. Looking forward for Jolly Beauty to create some other colors, and if it's going to be something, you know, not similar but something different, neony and beautiful colors, definitely I will purchase. So I will not regret about this palette at all. No regrets. Amazing. Something really special in my collection because it's the last purchase was from Oden's Eye, and I bought all of multichromes and some of the shimmers. Okay, I heard a lot of people complain that the package is kind of, you know, like for kids, and you have to put the stickers. This is a joke or what? And when I received, I was like, okay, let me try it, let me see it. And I wasn't really impressed. Because I have Cliona cosmetic, which I absolutely love it. This is my #1 brand. So I start to compare, and I just did a short video. I don't know if it's going to be out. Some of the shades from Cliona is really similar. I found this shade, Thorn, is similar with one of this shade over here. I think it's called Spotlight, if I'm not mistaken. Don't mind, it's really happened that some of my shades really cracked when I was traveling. Silly me, I should have packed it better. This, I'm talking about this shade, that's why it's look funny. This shade is really similar, and I'm going to actually swatch it for you so you will understand how similar is with this shade Thorn in this collection Oden's Eye. So this is two colors. One of them Thorn, another one is, this is Cliona, this is Oden's Eye. They're really identical. I have it over here actually. This is the, wait a second, this, what is this one? This is Oden's, and this is Cliona. And you will not really see the difference. Honestly, they are pretty identical. Even reflection wise depends how the light hit, but they're really the same, honestly. So if you complain about Oden's Eye cosmetic, I don't think so you should, because it's not bad. It's really not bad, and I just create this beautiful look. Look at these shades. mean, what is bad about these shades? They're amazing. And you know what? When I first received, I was also thinking, oh, I don't know, maybe it's not. But as more I start to play with these colors, I am really loving it. And I mentioned in my video, if you want to see my old video about this swatches, look at this color. Maybe you don't have to buy all of them, and I already mentioned that before, but a lot of them, like people love this red, for example. I'm not too much into it, but really, like some people who like this beautiful brown, like it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I'm really loving it more and more as long I am, you know, playing with this color, creating some looks like today. I mean, look at this. I'm really not regret. At the beginning I was thinking, I don't know, you know, I have Cleona, I really loving it, why I bought this, but it's a little bit different. It's really beautiful. I love them both. I love both brands. Cleona is my absolutely favorite. I can't say anything, but this one is also thumbs up. If I advise it, I will advise for you to buy some shades from Multichrome and some shades from Shimmers. Shimmers are also amazing in this collection. I really love it. I already talked about them. This is my shades and they are gorgeous. Look at this. Are they not gorgeous? They're vibrant, they're beautiful. So go for it. Go for it. Don't listen to anybody. Just trust me. You will love it. I think I talk about everything what I was supposed to talk about, all my recent palettes, what I really love it, what I don't really like it. So if I had another chance, I told you which I will purchase. Definitely I will purchase some of the Multichrome, all of this. I will purchase this one, this palette, my Kayla, Froggy. This one I really love it, but not sure because the shades comes off a little bit, so not sure. I definitely will buy all GLAMLITE, really loving it, and I would buy obviously this one. Definitely will buy Zombie Fight from Jolly Beauty, and I would definitely doubt it this quads, and definitely will not go for this one, and maybe it's not as necessary for me even this one. So these three palettes I wouldn't purchase if I knew how they perform and how they are. This is a pretty good, but because I give you a choice between two quads, I would have gone for Natasha Denona definitely, because this is pricey, and this is, I didn't like how it's performed, and this one is a good quality, but I have something in my collection like this. I don't really need it. I think that's it. I hope it was clear and fast. Thank you very much for watching me. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you really enjoyed this video, and I will come up with new videos very soon. So see you. Bye. Пока-пока.